Okay. Just feel gravity pulling down. So what we're really looking for is not the forces that we're under, but our responses to the forces. So gravity's pulling down. My response to that is to thrust up from the ground. So that's what I'm wanting that to foreground, but without losing the down. So I just keep my mind, partly just to distract my mind, I just keep my mind with the flowing down, and then I allow this upsurge to manifest, to show itself. As soon as I concentrate on what's coming up, I'll spoil it. So as we stand, we're relaxing, which means letting go so that there's a feeling of expansion, especially here. It's like your hips are getting wider and wider. So there's a feeling, I mean, a riding horse has got these feet at some distance apart. So with that sort of widening expansion, you get the feeling you're slipping, you're sort of opening up in the middle. It's like a cavity. You're just sort of slipping into each leg. So there's a natural separation between the two sides of the body, the left and the right. Now, as I just allow that, so gravity pulling me down will spread me, I begin to notice that there's a pull, there's something inside that's holding me together. And that's centered here. Yeah. So that's my own gravity. It's my own gravitational center. Okay, now let's just try just slipping the hands underneath and lifting something. And just feeling the upper back just leans back very slightly to stop this heavy thing that you're lifting from pulling you forwards. Yeah, so there's almost a sense that your spine is now just joined with the sort of thigh. So the thigh is angled forward slightly because my knees are bent. Because I'm leaning back a little, it's almost like there's a line from my knee up to my shoulders that's almost straight. So let's just try that again. So just, I slip underneath and I just lift up and allow myself just to tilt back very slightly. Yeah, so when you're in riding a horse, the arms feel like they're lifting all the time. Yeah? So you've got this circuit going, so flowing down your own body, and there's a sense of a lift in front of you that your hands are with. So there's this circuit going on simply by standing in gravity with this slightly leaning back posture. So my body is sinking, the energy is rising. My body is relaxing, the energy is tautening. And there's a lift, there's a sense of lift here, which actually drives me down. This is what's important. Okay, so now let's just try that sort of qigong exercise that we've been doing. So just dipping down, like you're dipping your hands into water, and then just splashing up into your face, and then just allowing it to pool in the chest, in the heart. And now just using the muscles in the lower back just slightly, just to get this fountain coming up through you. And then just let it cascade all around. So again, I dip down. And here, splashing your face. And then it just all gathers, like there's a pool in the heart. And then here, a big geyser comes up inside me and sprays it up like a fountain. Okay. 1, 2. So we're doing 10 of these. This is number 5. I tend to count everything. Two more. Right. Now just let's lift the hands again. So again, this feeling that something's coming up in front of me. Okay, so now let's try the tightening of the front and the back. So just drawing the belly in and release. So get it going with the fists clenching. So I clench the fists and that tightens the belly. And then I really open the hands strong and that tightens my lower back. So I pull the belly, tighten the back, pull the belly. There's a sort of coordinating with the breathing. So normal breathing is breathing in here and then out here. And reverse breathing is just the other way. Okay, and then back to body force. Okay. Gravity pulling down, my own energy thrusting up, widening, relaxing. So it should feel as though the arms are just wanting to sort of drift out like this. So you're actually having to find some inner sort of togetherness, some inner probity that actually keeps them in. And that just comes from here. This is a natural pull into the down shape. Okay, so what we want to start to get into is the heart. And I don't mean in a wishy-washy, new agey type way. I mean in just as a pump, just as a beating drum, a clock. So just feel your own heartbeat. Yeah, so you should just be able to close your eyes and just feel that insistent ticking. Yeah, so 1 and 2 and 1. So we just want to connect with that. That gives the body like a natural buoyancy. So that's what a second is. So a second on the clock is just a heartbeat. It's a natural measure. And so most people's natural heart rate is around about 60 a minute. John's just 40. We just want to connect with that. That's like this sort of insistent but quiet presence through everything that we do. Yeah. And that's life in a way. Life is that beat. When it stops, that's it. So we try to convince ourselves that we have a spirit and a soul and whatever to give us the reassurance of knowing there's going to be some continuity. But the only thing we need to really concern ourselves with is that beat, that drum. So it's like a rhythm that you don't really have much control over. And you can go for a run and it will sort of double its speed over time, but when you're just standing like this, it's just beating, it's just there. It's like it's marking the passage of time. It's like the tick-tock on the clock. Yeah? And it's a pulse, so it's a pump. Whoa, 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 whoa. And if you can quieten down here and not just to sort of just get into that rhythm, then it's a bit like getting into a trance. It'll just enable you to flip into sort of just heightened awarenesses. Yeah, so when we say listen to the heart, it's got nothing to do with any sort of romantic or fantastical notion. It's just listening to the beat, just hearing it, wow, 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 wow. And just feel it sort of just, it's like it's not just knocking inside you, it's actually knocking the ground. That your body is pulsing and just beating with the ground very subtly. If it wasn't, then you'd be dead. You wouldn't have a heartbeat. Yeah? So it's knocking on the ground, and it's also reverberating with the air because your whole body is pumping with it. Yeah, so once that's established, and you can't not hear it, once it's there, just throbbing away inside you insistently, you can sort of coordinate the breathing with it. So you can like breathe into like a count of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then out 1. Yeah. So there's a sense of the sort of the rhythms coordinating. So when you connect with the heart rate, it's like something in you sort of tightens up. You know, the muscles just become toned. The whole body becomes toned. So you're like the skin of a sort of drum that can sort of, or like the skin of a tight trampoline. It's got this springy, bouncy quality. So now let's just try and connect with that craniosacral rhythm. So probably the best place to try and feel it is in the sacrum. So we have a lower body and an upper body, and they sort of join at the hips. And the sacrum is the part of my body that's common to both. So it belongs to the upper body because it's the end of the spine, and it belongs to the lower body because it's inside this hip structure. Yeah. So that the sacrum is held by the 2 hip bones. Yeah. So gravity is pulling the upper body down, which is making this happen. Yeah. My legs pushing up are trying to hold in. Yeah. Gravity is trying to push out. So the sacrum is under quite a lot of pressure. Yeah. So what we want to try and just feel is just close your eyes and just feel it sort of pumping. But it's very slow. Yeah. So it's like something sort of gets slightly bigger. So the feeling is that just a fraction of a millimeter actually expands quite significantly when it gets further away from that place. So by the time that movement gets to the hands, it's definitely visible. But I'm not doing this. You know, I'm wanting my body to expand and my body to contract. It's a bit like pulling in the belly and tightening the back, but it's coming from not the muscles, it's coming from inside. It's coming from the bone. The sacrum is expanding very slightly, and then it just deflates very slightly. It fills up internal pressure, and then slowly that pressure dissipates. So, whoa. It's very, very gentle. So gentle that you're never quite sure if you've got it or not. If you're hearing it or not. And that, in a way, that's its beauty. So it takes many shapes. You know? Yeah, so the feeling with this one is like it possesses your whole body. So it's not like a pump that's going on here. It's actually getting all the way to the very edges of you. And then just feel the heartbeat as well. And so we've got these three rhythms basically. This craniosacral swell, which is like the longest rhythm, the longest wavelength. You've got the breathing, which is very much at your control, under your control, unfortunately. And then there's the heartbeat. Okay, now let's just try pulling the belly in and out again, but this time just stay with the heartbeat. So the heartbeat, when you do something slowly like this, yeah, and you're connecting with the heartbeat is like an insistence, it's like a tightening, it tightens. So when you get to here, you can just connect with the heartbeat and slowly, with each beat, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, until eventually it just has to open out. Yeah? So let's just feel that. So just pulling in and just feel the heart beating in the background. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And back 1. So it's like you're moving step by step, and each step is a heartbeat. Whoop, 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 and whoop. Just back. You should just feel that. Yeah, so it's like each rhythm sort of marks time in its sort of own way. So it's a bit like a resistance to passing through time. So this is what we need, because we're so used to being, to sort of passing through time carelessly. with a mind that's thinking about something else. That it's almost like we don't relish each moment. Yeah? And so by just feeling the heartbeat, it's like you're sort of pushing against something to just advance through time, which is what we want. And so it almost feels like you're sort of, when you're in the swimming pool and you're sort of up to here and you're trying to walk, it's like a real labor. And you can't do it quickly, and it forces you just to feel every second, every moment of movement. There's no chance to slip, yeah? Because your mind has wandered. So it's very much, it's almost like time becomes a medium through which you have to sort of extrude yourself if you want to live it properly. And as soon as we start getting distracted and thinking about something else, time is slipping by in the wrong way. And so for me, when they say listen to the heart, it just means, to me, it's just like listen to the beat. It's not as though the heart's saying anything. It's just that by listening to that beat, by connecting the mind with that beat, it gets you into like a sort of trance. Now let's just do something revolutionary. Let's move. So let's just go just from leg to leg. Okay, just very. So how do I actually get? So the simplest way, really, to just get the weight going from leg to leg is just to lean. So let's just try that. Just imagine, we're still stuck in the middle of riding balls. This is why John hated riding balls, because you get stuck in the middle. So just keep the down chin where it is and just lean slightly. And just feel this foot filling up. And then allow the foot to bounce you back up. Okay? So just feel the leg like a sort of spring that bounces you back up. Yeah. So my upper body relaxes into the tension of the leg, which then springs back. Yeah. So we just want to feel like the leg is just a natural spring. So it's not as though I'm having to sort of make a decision to come back up. I just relax into the leg. And then at some point, the leg bounces back. But I want the feeling that I'm getting all the way down to the foot. So I want it, in a way, hitting the foot with my weight is the stimulus that makes the leg kick back. So 1, 2, 1, 2. And just feel the energy. So just feel the impetus that actually it comes in slightly before you start moving. So I'm sinking down. So the leg is already throwing me back. And then my body sort of catches up. And boing. Yeah, so as I put all of my weight here, it loads the spring just slightly more than normal. And then that pushes back, and I just let it. 1. And ooh. It's like a wave, and you get caught by it, and it takes you. And, ooh. Okay. So now let's just come back to here. Again, just connect with the heartbeat. 1. Okay, now let's just just get a chair, yeah? So, the chair at the back, you don't need it, but it'll probably be easier with it. So what we're just going to do is just do the leaning again. And I'm just using the chair for my balance, because what I want to do is lean over the leg. And once I feel that I've touched the ground with my weight, I just want to bring the leg up in the air. So you're just using the chair to stop yourself from falling, then put the foot down, and then lean across into this leg. Really feel that you're holding the ground, and that enables you to lift the other leg off the floor. So the foot should come off the floor very easily. So you just have to really make sure you're secure in the one leg before you lift it. So this foot is now out, and then back to the middle, and then fill this side, slowly fill down all the way to the foot. So you should almost feel that you could reach the foot with your hand. And then you just lift the other leg and just let yourself go over a bit more. So try, don't let the head try and come back up. Let the head go with the leaning. So it's just the sumo leg stamps. I mean, those guys have it all sorted, really. So this is the simplest, the clearest, in a way, the most honest way of just getting your weight in one leg and taking the other foot off the ground. And again, connect to the heartbeat. So once you get into the position, so once you've lifted the leg, just feel that pulse. It's like you're bouncing very slightly when you're in the position, and that will slowly tighten you up into this toned bundle, which is exactly what we want. So and then just bring it back, and then again over this side, reaching down, lifting up the leg, and then just hear the heartbeat. 1, 2. One, and now back up to the top. So really feel the top, feel the middle, where the spine just slots back into the vertical. And then let it lead that. There's something psychologically, there's something quite interesting about letting your spine lead the vertical. And again, just pump. 1 and 2. 1, 2, 2, 2. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And foot down, back to the top. Just feel that. Ooh. And then the other side, leaning over, reaching down with the hand, and just bringing the foot should come up really easily. And now just feet. So the whole body is just bouncing. 1 and 2. Foot down, come back up. So you hit the middle, and it's like that. You feel that fountain. Yeah. So hit. Now this is the miracle of our vertical posture. So when we hit it, there's an instant shoot right up to the stars through the top of your head. And now lean this side. And so when we lose that, we just really get into the body in a sense. So this is just very physical. And so we want to feel our physicality, but we want to feel its livingness, its pumpingness, its insistence. It's not physical like the other objects in the room. Living tissue is completely different than non-organic, relatively dead matter. And so we just want to feel that. Whoa, you're like this throbbing heart, this enormous heart that's just beating and resonating, and everything's sort of vibrating with your livingness. And then back to the top and just feel that, whoa. And then one more, just tipping over this side. Sink, feel the sinking. So when you lean over, in a way it's even easier to feel the sinking. Because we're in one leg, so all the weight's in one leg, so it's really taking a bit of punishment, and then just feel the beat. Again, back to the top, and whee. And then one more this side. and then just back to here. Now let's just stand with the fingers up and just feel that ascending energy. And again, just feel the heartbeat there all the time. Pump, pump, do. It's like a reminder that you're alive. A reminder that you have vitality as well as thoughts. Okay, so now let's just take the chair back. Okay, so now let's just try that exercise where we break here. So this is really important, because without this you don't really get the energy down to the ground, so you can't use your root. So there's like a slight break here, and that just takes me down. Yeah? And then I'll just bring the hands to the back and just smooth my buttocks down into the hamstrings. And then I'll bring the hands back and just break here. So it's like these pockets here, we want them to be active. So as they break, I suck my fingers in. It's not just that my fingers are prodding. And then I just trace the line of the hip around until my hands are on the sacroiliacs. I just feel those two joints giving energy into my hands and the warmth of my hands going into those joints. And then I just smooth down, just helping the lower back relax out. And then again, here's the whole. So as you break it, just feel that natural impulse to give, even if it's only asking. Yeah. So here's something here is breaking, and that is allowing something to come up. Yeah. And out. And then you just cut round to the back. And then as you smooth down here, the belly naturally comes in, and now you're just receiving from the front. Yeah? And then something breaks in the hip, and that allows something to come up and out. And then around and ooh. So what we want to try and connect with is the, if you like, the spirit, the truth. Yeah. So as I break here, it's almost like a little bird just sort of leaps out, flies out of my chest. Yeah. And then this just brings it back. So if you sincerely give from the heart, then you will collapse. Yeah? You'll break and you will fall in a heap on the floor. So that's the feeling. It's like somehow just releasing authentically and sincerely from here just makes my knees buckle. But it's actually here that buckles. It's whoa. There's a drop. Got a friend here who's he told me at the time he proposed to his wife. So he planned it. So he had the ring in his pocket and they'd gone on this long walk in the mountains in Czechoslovakia. And she was cursing him the whole time because it was such an arduous walk. But finally they got to the top of the mount and he proposed. He asked her to marry him. Of course, she said yes. And I said to him, I said, when you asked, did you fall to one knee? You know, the traditional way. And he thought back, he says, yes, I did. I said, why? He said it was just the natural thing to do. So it's like that natural act of just saying, please, you know, he just dropped. Something in you just lets go. And if it didn't, then it wouldn't fly out. You know, this is the feeling. And so without this break here, nothing of real sincerity comes out. It's all considered and planned and false. Yeah? So, whoa. Yeah, so this is like pure sincerity, just your real, the heart just leaps out. And then this is like a technique to bring it back. This is like being sneaky and pulling it all back in. So it's like it was only a trick. So something leaps out. And then as you release here, it's almost like the elastic snaps back, yeah, so that you can do it again. So this is yielding, yeah. So yielding starts off with that sincere leap, that desire to connect and invite and welcome. Now, in case that energy coming in isn't very nice, you've got this withdrawal at your disposal, this trick of drawing the other person in. Yeah. So yielding is like a sort of just a trick, really. So this is the important bit, really, because without that, the second bit doesn't work. It's unnecessary. So this bit. Ooh. Okay, so that's basically what we do when we do anything. Yeah? So now let's just do a figure of 8 around the legs. So just try not to get too much movement here. So it's not this. Yeah, you're just almost like you're leaning, but here breaking here and then curving here to get down. So break and one. So we're just breaking one side to get a turn. So you get to get a turn this way. and to get a sinking into the leg. So when I break here, I turn and I go into the leg. So one, and then when I relax the buttock down, it brings me the other way. One. And again, the difficulty is getting it all the way down. So really, so it's got to go all the way down, almost like you could scoop under your own foot. So, and then just relax it. So I figure eight around the legs. So it's got to come out separately up and down to the ground, and then it comes up and comes, and you think of it coming in the down chain, or in like the opposite hip, or even this one, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so as you break, it's like you lose it. Suddenly you just scattered, everything's everywhere, and then so you have to quickly retrieve it. And the better you get it, the more scattered you become, but the less you need to stay in that place. It can just be a momentary release of spirit. And so this is what, in a way, is what we're looking at, is just how does spirit get released? So, whoa. Yeah, you can see we're having to make quick changes, yeah. And you can see that if you just kept it up, you'd go crazy. So basically what you really need to do is just split yourself into two. Yeah? One that's just rah, rah, pulsing and releasing from here all the time. And the other one that's just leaning back into this sort of soft mattress. Yeah? And so you're just switching from one to the other. They're both there all the time. Just back to here. then just feel the heartbeat. Boing, boing, boing. And then just connect to this craniosacral pump. And this is the big one that sort of, it's like the waves in the sea. So it's like your breathing is sort of high to high, really. It's these two that are important, the ones you can't really control, the ones you just have to feel. Now let's just use that heartbeat and just pump the ground, but alternately. It's a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, so we have to be able to split the heart into two. Yeah? So it's like split all of these singularities, all of these things we only have one of. It's like a spine, skull, dantian, and sort of somehow work it in such a way that it naturally splits and becomes a duality, becomes this yin-yang circle. And the only way to do that really is to just get activity into it. And so when you get the dantian really pumping and pulsing, then it will naturally just split into two sides that sort of do opposite things, if you like. So 1, 2, 3. So just feel the feet. So the feet are doing what the hands are doing. So my feet are opening and clenching. So it's very animal. You just try and get it in the rhythm of your heart. Yeah, that's what's come out of today. Like, 1, 2, 3. Just back to here, and now that's going. So you've got this pump that's going like this, yeah. But you've also got this, this sort of movement, this lateral movement. Yeah. So that the single pump will get you whipping in this direction. A bit like the religious guys do when they pray, they're just doing this. It's just one thing, they're just one pump. And when you get it to split into two, then you'll get this sort of lateral movement, just like this. And so the sort of so to get it to split into two, something here just has to just let go. It's in the center. So we were sort of just looking at tensions that have been there since we were really little. So if I just open, if I open up here, suddenly the world is a much bigger place. It's not the one I like. But it's frightening. It's almost like it takes your breath. You know? Like jumping into cold water. So now let's just finish with some more of that. Just this one. Yeah. So what we're going to do is just do one in the middle. And then just slip into one leg. So the other leg is just, it's on the floor, but it's empty. And then just one like this. And then just over. And just try and feel the energy that you gain access to by being in one leg, and the energy that you lose when you are in both legs. Yeah. So this is stable, but it's very sort of, I'm under control. I'm well used to standing on two legs, but when I come into one leg, I've got the difficulty of my balance, which is destabilizing me. But I've also got much more energy coming out of the one leg because it's being loaded with all of my weight, you know? And then just passing into the other leg. And so this energy of the unstableness, if you like, and now stable, I'm in the middle. And then just into the one leg. Just make sure it's full and empty. Splashing up. And see, ooh. Good. I've overstayed my walk. And then one here and one. And then just one more in the middle, and just try feel as though this side is slipping here, this side is slipping here. So you've got that quality of the single weightedness coming from both sides of your body. And they're not, it's not cancelling out, it's somehow still there. So this is what we want, when we're in riding horse. Let's try again. Wow. And so the two sides of your body are not locked together by a self. They're sort of just doing the same thing. And you're sort of observing it. But they're always slightly out of place. They never quite get it right. That's sort of, and then normal. Right. So now let's just bring it back to the heartbeat. So sinking, rising, leaning back slightly, lifting here, expanding, contracting into the belly. And now just feel that body. Yeah, sometimes it's nice just to let it waltz. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's why the waltz is so powerful, because it's like each bar is just 1 second. And it just gets you moving. Okay, and then bring it back down. There. Just bring it all back to here. Okay.